So the first question is, what is computer network? So computer network is defined as a system that connects two or more computing devices. Computing devices means it can be anything: mobile phone, laptop, tablets, and each and everything that is connected to the system for transmitting and sharing information. Computing devices includes everything from a mobile phone to a server. These devices are connected using physical wires or wireless as well. In physical wires, it can be fiber optics, coaxial cable, and wireless. I hope you all know. There are some key components of a computer network we will be talking about in details in this video and in coming videos as well. It may include network devices, some links which will help us to connect those devices, communication protocols, and there will be some network defenses as well. So the first thing is that what are the network topologies and its types? The way that data is transferred and the device are connected, how the network topology will take shapes. It's basically the way how it's going to be connected and how the data is going to be transferred from different devices. There are different types of network topologies. Commonly used types are bus, star, rings, mesh, tree, and hybrid. Hybrid are basically the different shapes of physical topologies. The first one is bus topology. This is the simplest type of a topologies, and it's designed in such a way that all the stations or hubs or the devices are connected through a single cable known as backbone cable. The configuration of a bus topology is quite simpler as compared to other topologies because the backbone cable is considered as a single lane. Okay, so through which the system is broadcast to all the stations. The most common access method of the bus topology is CSMA, Carrier Sense Multiple Access. As you can see here in network topology, in this bus topology, all the networks, all the systems are connected through a central hub. This hub, so through a central wire. This wire is called network backbone. So this topology is called bus topology. Then there are some advantages and disadvantages as well. Advantages of a bus topology is first of all low cost cable. Because in bus topologies, nodes means every system are directly connected to the cable without passing through a hub. Therefore, the initial cost of installation is so low. Moderate data speed. Coaxial or twisted pair cables are mainly used in bus topology, so that's supposed up to 10 Mbps. Familiar technology. Bus topology is a familiar technology as the installation and troubleshooting techniques are well known and hardware components are easily available. Limited failure. A failure in one node will not have any effect on other nodes because every device is connected to a central hub, and if one node will become failure, so it's not going to affect on other nodes. Then it's come some disadvantages of bus topologies. First of all, extensive cabling. Although the cable is very cheap, but it's very extensive and it requires a lot of cabling. Difficult troubleshooting. It requires a specialized testing equipment to determine the cable fault. If any fault occur in the cable, and then it would disrupt the communication for all the nodes because we are using the same medium for our communication. Then single interference. If two nodes send the message simultaneously, then the signals of both the nodes collide with each other. So definitely signal interference is also the biggest problem of the bus topology. Reconfiguration difficult because adding new device to the network would slow down the network, right? And attenuation is a loss of signal leads to communication issues. Repeats are used to regenerate the signals. Then the second topology is the star topology. In star topology, all the host system basically is an arrangement of the network in which every node is connected to the central hub. That hub may be a switch or a central computer. As you can see in this picture, all the host systems are connected to a central hub, and this hub can be a system, switch, or a system as well. So there is basically the point-to-point connection between host and hub, right? So the central hub is known as a server, and the peripheral devices attached to the server are known as a client. Coaxial cable or RJ45 cables are used to connect to the systems. Hubs or switches are mainly used as a connection devices in a physical star topology. So the star topology is the most popular topology in network implementation. There are some advantages of star topology. So first of all is efficient troubleshooting. Because troubleshooting is quite efficient in a star topology as compared to the bus topology. Because in bus topology, the manager has to inspect the kilometers of cable. In a star topology, all the stations are connected to the centralized network. Therefore, the network administrator has to go to the single station to troubleshoot the problem. So the next advantage is network control. Complex network control features can be easily implemented in the star topology. Any changes made in the star topologies are automatically accommodated. We do not need to worry about all those things. So limited resources. The third one is limited resources. As each station is connected to the central hub with its own cable, therefore failure in one cable will not affect the entire network, right? And the fourth one is familiar technology. Star topology is a familiar technology as its tools are cost effective, easily expandable, because we just have to connect one device to the system, to the central hub. So it can be added to the open ports on the hub easily. Cost effective. Then star topology networks are cost effective as it uses inexpensive coaxial cable. High data speed. It supports a bandwidth of approximate 100 Mbps. Ethernet 100 base T is one of the most popular star topology networks. Next, disadvantages of a star topologies are basically only two: a central point of failure. Because if the central hub or the switch goes down, then all the connected nodes will not be able to communicate with each other. So it's a very major problem of this star topology, but although it's configurable. And then the second disadvantage is cable. Sometimes cable routing becomes difficult when a significant amount of routing is required. The third one is ring topology. As you can see, all the devices are connected in the ring form, right? So it's ring topology is just like a bus topology, but with connected ends. Because in bus topology, both the nodes are not connected, but in ring topology, both the ends are connected. The nodes that receive the message from the previous computer will retransmit to the next node. The data flows in one directional, means it's unidirectional, it cannot be a bidirectional. The data flows in a single loop continuously known as endless loop. It has no terminated ends. For example, each node is connected to the other node and having no termination point. As you can see from this picture as well, there is no termination point. It's just a continuous loop. That's why it's called a ring topology. The most common access method of the ring topology is the token pass. Token passing is a network access method in which token is passed from one node to another node. And token is basically a frame that circulates around the network. There are some advantages and disadvantages, of course. So the advantages of ring topology is, first of all, it's network management. Faulty devices can be removed from the network without bringing the network down. Second one is product availability. Many hardware and software tools for network operations and monitoring are available. Third one is cost. Twisted pair coaxial cabling is inexpensive and easily available. Therefore, the installation cost is very low. Reliable. It's a more reliable computer network because the communication system is not dependent on a single host computer. Every system is connected in a form of a ring, so it's a reliable communication network. So there are some disadvantages. The first one is difficult troubleshooting. How is going to be difficult? Because it requires specialized test equipment to determine the faulty cables. If any fault occurs in the cable, then it would disrupt the communication for all the nodes. Second one is failure. The breakdown in one station leads to the failure of the overall network. Reconfiguration difficulties. Adding new devices to the network would slow down the network. The fourth is delay. Communication delay is directly proportional to the number of nodes, right? Adding new nodes increases the communication delay. So it's a major problem in ring topology. Next, it comes tree topology. Tree topology basically combines the characteristics of bus topology and a star topology. A network topology is a type of structure in which all the computers are connected with each other in hierarchical fashion. As you can see from this picture, the most node in tree topology is known as root node, and all other nodes are the descendant of the root nodes. As you can see, these are the root nodes, and the topmost node is the root node, and the rest of the nodes are the descendant of the nodes. And all the nodes are connected in the form of tree, and it looks like a branches of the tree. There is only one path exists between two nodes for the transmission. Thus, it forms a parent-child hierarchy. As you can see, this can be a parent and this can be a child. This can be a parent and this can be a child, but definitely this is going to be a parent, and these four are its child. Advantages of tree topology. The first advantage is that it supports for broadband transmission. Tree topology is mainly used to provide broadband transmission. For example, signals are sent over long distance without being attenuated. Second one is easily expandable. We can add the new devices to the existing network. Therefore, we can say that tree topology is easily expandable. The third one is easily manageable. In tree topology, the whole network is divided into segments known as the star networks, which can be easily managed and maintained. Error detection. Error detection and error correction are very easy in a tree topology. Limited failure. The breakdown in one station does not affect the entire network. The last but not the least, point to point wiring. It has point to point wiring for individual segments. So these are all 6 advantages of tree topologies. See how are the disadvantages of the tree topology. The first one is difficult troubleshooting. It's very common that if any fault occur in the node, then it becomes very difficult to troubleshoot the problem that where it occurs. Second is high cost. Devices required for broadband transmission are very costly. The third one is failure. A tree topology mainly relies on main bus cable, and failure in main bus cable will damage the overall system. Reconfiguration difficult. If new devices are added, then it becomes difficult to reconfigure, right? So these are some disadvantages of topology. Then it comes the next it comes the mesh topology. As you can see in mesh topologies, all the systems are connected to each other, right? Every system is connected to every other system in a network. So it's an arrangement of the network. We will define this mesh topology as like it's an arrangement of the network in which computers are interconnected with each other through various redundant connections. There are multiple paths from one computer to another. It doesn't contain the switch, hub, or any central computer, which act as a central point of communication. The internet is an example of the mesh topology, and mesh topology is mainly used for WAN implementation, where communication failure are a critical concern. Mesh topology is mainly used for wireless network, and it can be formed by using the formula number of cables equals to n multiplied n minus 1 divided by 2, where n is the number of nodes that represents the network. So we can find out the mesh topologies formulation formed by using this formula, where n is equals to the number of nodes. There are two types of mesh topology, the full mesh topology and partial mesh topology. In full mesh topology, each system is connected to all the computers available in the network. And partial mesh topology, in partial mesh topology, not all but certain computers are connected to those computers with which they communicate frequently. So there are disadvantages of mesh topologies. The first one is reliable. It is very reliable that if any link break down, it will not affect the communication between connected to the other system. Then second one is fast communication. Communication is very fast because every node is connected to the other node. That's why it's fast. Easier reconfiguration. Adding new devices would not disrupt the communication between other devices. So there are disadvantages of mesh topologies as well. The first one is cost. Definitely, um, implementation of this mesh topology is very higher. A large number of connected devices. So definitely a router will be required, more wire will be required, and more transmission media through other topologies will also be requirement of this topology. Second is management. Mesh topology networks are very large and very difficult to maintain and manage. If the network is not monitored carefully, then the communication link failure goes undetected. Efficiency. In this topology, redundant connections are high, that reduces the efficiency of the network. Last but not the least, hybrid topology. As you can see, it's a combination of various different topologies. This is called hybrid. A hybrid is a connection between different links and nodes to transfer the data. When two or more different topologies are combined together in terms as a hybrid topology, and if similar topologies are connected with each other, will not result in hybrid topology. For example, if there exists a ring topology in one branch of ICICI Bank and bus topology is another branch of a bank, connecting these two topology will result in hybrid topology. Definitely, there are some advantages. The first one is reliable, scalable, flexible, and effective. It's reliable because if fault occur in any part of the network, it will not affect the function of the rest of the network. It's scalable because size of the network can be easily expandable by adding new devices without affecting the functionality of the existing network. Flexible because it can be designed according to the requirement of the organization. Effective because it can be designed in such a way that the strength of the network is maximized and weaknesses of the network is minimized. Disadvantages of the network. This hybrid topology, the first one, most important, and I hope you already guessed it, complex design. Because the major drawback of hybrid topology is the design of the hybrid network. It's very difficult to design the architecture of the hybrid network. Costly hub. The hubs used in the hybrid topologies are very expensive, as these hubs are different from usual hubs used in other topologies. Costly infrastructure. The infrastructure cost is very high, as a hybrid network requires a lot of cabling, network devices, and a lot of other things as well. And these are all the pictures again. For ring topologies, bus means line topology, mesh topology, star topology, tree topology, bus, and fully connected. Then there are some types of area network. The first one is there are three types of, by the way, area networks: LAN, WAN, and MAN. LAN is a network that usually connects a small group of computers in a given geographical area, whereas a WAN is network spans to an even larger locality. It has the capacity to connect various countries together. And on the other hand, MAN is a comparatively wider network that covers larger regions like towns, cities, etc. LAN is basically connection of two or more buildings, and it can be connected through bridges and some resources sharing, and in man, it can be a connection of between cities. And as you can see, this is bus and this is ring topologies, and these two can be connected through some router, and router will be connected through local telephone exchange. And in WAN, we can be connect multiple countries and cities as well. In one city, it's a ring topology, and in some country, it's a combination of ring and bus topology. It can be hybrid topology, right? So we can connect the countries together through router, and these routers will be connected through some medium and through over the internet. So this is all the LAN, WAN, MAN. Then how the internet work? In internet, there are some things: URL, ISP server, IP address, host server, server, browser, communication link. It can be wires, DSL, satellites, etc. So as you can see, this green line represents a request path, and red line represents a returned path. Whenever you are going to type something in your system, you are going to hit some URL. Once you will press the URL or you will type something to the system, that request will be passed to the modem. Through modem, it's going to be passed the ISP server, and in through ISP server and through some routing devices, is going to be transferred into the internet. Through internet server, it's going to be in the domain name server. Then after domain name server, it's going to be passed in the web server. Then it will, in the web server, it's going to be find out the specific request, whatever we want to find out from the internet. It will look into the database and find out that specific content, and it will response it again in the specific sequence. First is going to web server, will response is to ISP servers. Then ISP server will send through internet to again our ISP country server, and then that country server will respond it through modem to our device. So in this way, internet works, right? All of these things are actually responsible for giving us all the information what we are looking forward, right? And it's just within seconds, these all the operations can be handled. Next comes the data and network security, because we are using a computer and we are connected through an internet. So security is most important part, and these security protocols and security certification programs developed by the Wi-Fi Alliance to secure wirelessly computer network. It prevents the third party from connected to your wireless network. It also decrypts your private data sent over the airways. So there are three types of security protocol: WPA, WPA2, WPA3. WPA means Wi-Fi protected access, Wi-Fi protected access 2, Wi-Fi protected access. First it comes wired equivalent privacy. This is also protocols for wired equivalent privacy. It was developed for wireless networks and approved as a Wi-Fi security standard in 1999. So the issues in web was easy to break, and it was hard to configure, and it contains vulnerable solution for all the problems. So there were some issues in these three were the issues in the web. That's why another system that caused WPA, wired protected access. It was used temporarily as a security enhancement for web. Later on, after 1 year before web was officially abandoned, WPA was formally adopted. So it uses pre-shared key (PSK) for personal and temporal key integrity protocol for encryption. And then it comes digital citizenship. Digital citizenship basically refers to the responsible use of technology by anyone who uses computer, internet, and digital devices to engage with society on any level. There are some rules that needs to be followed when you are digital citizen to protect yourself and to protect others. So there are some things that like personal ID, intellectual property, software licensing, and your personal information as well, right? So if you are connected and you are using an internet connection, it means you are connected to the internet. It means you are a digital citizen. And if you are a digital citizenship, it it has some it you should have some responsible ability to protect yourself and to protect others through using internet, right? So first thing you can protect is your personal data. We must never give our personal information to anyone, like name, personal ID, addresses, and technology assets information like media access control over internet protocol access that one tied to contain individual. We should never give our personal information to anyone. Then it comes intellectual property. It is a category of a property that includes intangible creation of the humans. There are many types of intellectual property. That most well-known types are copyright, patent, trademark, industrial design right, plant variety right, etc. Then it comes intellectual property law. It is the area of law that deals with legal rights of creative works and inventions. It controls who gets to use creation. It includes new products, artistic works, and design. The purpose of IPL is to allow the people who creates and invent things to profit from their work. When it comes software licensing, it provides the end user with the right to one or more copies of the software without violating copyrights. There are two types of law of software licensing: freeware and shareware. In freeware, it's distributed at no financial cost to the end user. There is no agreed upon rights or license. Then it comes shareware. It's a type of property of software which is initially provided free of cost to the users who are allowed to encourage to make and share copies of the program. Next, cloud storage. Cloud storage is a mode of computer data storage in which digital design or data is stored on a servers on in off-site location. The servers are maintained by a third-party provider who is responsible for hosting, managing, and securing data stored on its infrastructure. There are some advantages and disadvantages. In advantages, it data safety, access your data from anywhere, sharing and collaboration, and cost effective. And disadvantages are you need an internet connection to access your data. Definitely, security is the biggest problem if you're using your data on clouds, and unavailability of the risks. So, although cloud storage is the most important thing and we are commonly using, but it's better that we should keep our data secure through some passwords, and we should provide two-way authentication and a lot of other things as well if we want to protect ourselves. So that's all for today. In next video, we will be talking about more about the OSI model and other network related things. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, do share it with your friends. Take care.